So we'll wait a few more minutes for some more people to get on. It doesn't seem like we have too many people.
Okay. I see that the environmental meeting was canceled.
Yeah, it's going to be canceled for this Thursday. It is an important one though. So Christian, do you have the new date?
It's most likely going to be the 23rd.
The 23rd. Okay. Well, we'll send out a notice to keep everyone posted.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And of course, I'm sure everyone has heard the bad news. So
Yeah, Madam Chair, I'm going to, during my time when I say I'm present, I'm going to briefly say something tonight.
yeah, actually, I was gonna start the meeting off. You know, we're definitely gonna have this. You know, some people were asking to postpone the meeting, and I understand that, but we thought, especially me, I thought it was a good idea to have the meeting in case people were not aware or maybe they wanted to attend services. And it's a great, great way to spread the information out to everyone.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, so we and then also we're gonna do a memorial section for Lucy during open session number 1. So definitely allow people more than 2 minutes to speak because you might have something to say in general, but some news, but then also obviously to do a tribute if everyone wants to say something about Lucy.
Okay. So I'll wait till then. I'll wait till the
Yeah,
open.
yeah, this way everybody can, have a chance and it could be like a memorial section of the meeting.
Okay.
Okay, Mary, here.
Go ahead.
Guys here.
Yeah, Mr. Narilla, good evening. So also, Marilena, we are, as part of the discussion with Lucy, we'll share all the information in the chat for those who'd like to attend.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to step out for half a second. Let me get a glass of water.
Okay. Yeah, we'll wait 2 more minutes. 7:05.
But Marilena, I requested that in case we can postpone the meeting for next week for her memory. Is nothing wrong. Where she worked for the long time for the CB4, and we cannot dedicate for 1 week for her.
No, it's not that or deep. It's that's also a great idea. But the reason why we wanted to have this meeting is because the message will spread. There's a lot of people who maybe don't look at their emails. And members of the public can find out about the services for Lucy in case they want to attend. So if we didn't have the meeting and then her services are this Thursday and Friday, they might miss that information and not get a chance to go pay their respects. So that's why we thought it was best to continue with tonight's meeting so that the message is, widespread out to many different community, members, board members, public. So we thought that was the best thing to do, of course. We'd rather have people pay their respects than, oh, I didn't know about it, I missed it, and then people being upset that they didn't know about it.
Yeah, where is wake up the churches? Do you have any information of the church?
Yeah.
Mr. Narilla, we're gonna be sharing that in the chat very soon. We already emailed you it, but we'll share it in the chat over the course of the meeting. Rest assured, you'll have everything.
Any kind of financially you need some kind of help?
No, we're okay. Again, we'll discuss all that during the meeting. We're okay. I'll let you know.
So that's why we really felt to have tonight's meeting, because I know a lot of people are gonna want to, have questions. So it'd be great, better to just have this, before and just kind of go over everything. So I know a lot of people are upset and they have questions and people want to help, people want to say things. So it's just better to have the meeting tonight. Unfortunately, I mean, we all know Lucy never missed a meeting. So it's just really upsetting, of course, for her not to be here. But if we would have it, next week, then she's, everything would have been passed and maybe some people would not even know that there was the services. So.
Did she have her last meeting on February 1st, by the way?
She did.
No, she had. No, I think it was a lot. So yeah, it was February 1st. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. We're already. It's not how fast the time, but yeah, it was just last week.
And then we had the executive board meeting February 2nd.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah, so a lot more people are on. That's good to see. All right, so we'll start tonight's meeting. Christian, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good to go. Yeah, that's it. So I'm actually using audio from 2 sources because my webcam tends to be pretty weak. So I'm holding my phone in my hand. If for any reason I mute out while I'm speaking, Leanne's giving me the thumbs up, much clearer than my usual shoddy report, right? But yeah, if for any reason, you know, you hear me mute out, it's because somebody's calling me on this phone, and people do call on this phone. So you could expect that. Just bear with me, guys. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, tonight's meeting, Community Board number 4 is February 8th, 7 p.m. We're a little bit late, but I'm glad everyone got on. Thank you everyone for joining tonight's meeting. It's definitely, you know, we don't have a huge agenda, but we're using tonight's meeting as more as to spread information. I think most people know our fellow board member, Lucy Shalero, passed away this weekend, unfortunately. And we're all very sad about this news, very upset, shocking at the same time. So we're using this meeting also for a memorial for her, to spread information about her wake and funeral and the services, and then just discuss, you know, some questions people might have as well. So we'll I think we should have a quorum now. So let's vote on the minutes from the January 11th meeting.
I make them, let me know when to make the motion.
Oh,
I
yeah,
do the-
Clara, if there's no edits or changes or questions, then yeah, we can make a motion.
I can do the second.
I
Okay,
make the
so,
motion to accept the minutes of the last month's meeting as presented.
okay, thank you, Clara, and seconded by Pradeep.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So the motion passes. January 11th meeting minutes are accepted. So I'm going to go into the chairperson's report. Like I said, this meeting tonight is not going to be a happy one. I know we're all very sad about Lucy Chalero, of course, our fellow board member. She was a community leader, activist, and a friend to, of course, everyone that she met and she, you know, engaged with. She's a longtime member of CB4 since 1990. She's been a longtime member of the executive board on CB4 and public safety committee. Of course, she chaired for such a long time. CERT, all her groups, CURSC, COMET, and many other groups that she was a part of, and other, of course, community initiatives. So many initiatives that I know she was a part of in the past, that she would always say, well, we did this then and we did that then, and she always had like so many references and great information and history of, you know, what had happened, you know, with community residents and initiatives and issues in the past. So it always helped us, you know, looking at things now in the future. So that was, you know, just something that that I'm gonna definitely miss. But unfortunately, you know, we just we're not expecting it, and we're gonna, like I said, use this meeting as a bit of a memorial. So we're gonna go later into the open session number 1. So every community board member, of course, if you have something to share, any news, please do so. But also, you can also use the time to also talk about Lucy. And you have more than 2 minutes. We're not gonna give you guys like a time limit on that because we're including both. So just wanted to do that. And I just want to, you know, before I go into the rest of the meeting, let's just have a moment of silence for Lucy. Okay. You guys have any, need more time, any prayers or any? It's okay. Thank you, everyone. And we can also do a moment of silence after open session when everybody has shared their thoughts, you know. All right, so just a brief report from me. We had our executive board meeting February 2nd, and the executive board, we just talked about some issues.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Georgina, we can hear you. We had our 2021 audit for the board, and we went over that briefly, and everything's okay with it. But if any board members want to see the audit or have any questions about it, please let us know. We can give that information over to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Georgina, we can hear you.
Can anybody hear me?
Georgina, we hear you. Everybody does.
Okay. And we talked about engagement with the public, how to get more public involved in our meetings and our committee meetings. And the committee meetings obviously are not being attended that well. We have our chairs doing great jobs of putting together our meetings, and but a lot of the meetings are very poorly attended. So we talked about ways on how we can improve that and engage and work on ways to engage the committee members to be committed to their committees and attending. We also talked about some additional, not additional, we had, you know, we're not spending as much money, so we had some talks about staff raises, so we did give the staff a little bit of a raise, and the committee approved it. So if anyone has any questions about that, please let us know. And that's it. It was just a great executive board meeting. Of course, Lucy had attended, and she was there, of course. And then, yeah, it was a great meeting. We talked about some initiatives going forward and some ideas. So that was great. And then I just want to remind you guys that the board member applications are due this month. So if you're up for renewal, you know, if you haven't renewed yet, please get your application in. If you have any questions, let the board office know, and then or contact Borough Hall. If you can't contact someone there, let us know so we can help you out with that. And that's really it for my report today. Yeah, that's it. Christian, do you have anything to report?
Yeah, thanks. And again, my apologies to everybody. It's a little weird for me talking to a phone, but able to see you. But nonetheless, at least I know I am clear. So I mean, board-wise report, I think a lot of my items are similar to what Marilena mentioned. Yes, the office did just go through an audit. The audit wasn't necessarily financial. It was just to make sure that we were in compliance with public hearings, minutes, accessibility on the website, and so on and so forth. I want to say we did average for what it's worth. We're definitely not at the bottom of the barrel, but we're not. Well, there goes my camera. Not here to necessarily discuss all the details of it, but it went well. We're still working to clarify a lot of the items, and a lot of the items are things that we really have no control over. Our website, translations on the site, and whatnot. So that's that. This past month we did, we did get a couple of pretty, solid projects I looked into. Just last month there was a community siting meeting for William F. Moore Park. That's one. We also have Josephine Caminiti Play Run coming up as well. And I want to just emphasize how important it is that we show up to these public meetings. When a park is ultimately designed, excuse me, from experience, I can tell you there's no better feeling than seeing an idea that you implemented or that you discussed to see it put into a park years later. So, please do attend the siting meetings whenever you can. I mean, I guess I'll open it up with just like my quick minute or two with Lucy Marilyn, if that's okay. And you know me, I'd rather report throughout the night with our meetings, as the committees meet. I don't have much. I have so much that I have nothing. I've known Lucy for 19 years. I consider she was like an aunt to me. She was like my second mom at work. I fought with her as often as I fought with my own mom. If anybody wants to look at the minutes from last week, we always go at each other, but it always ends up with a call between her and I saying, I love you, right? And that's not something I even say to my own mother for what it's worth. Lucy just brought it out of me. Her thing about, I'm going to pin his ears back. Anybody who knows Lucy, she's always going to pin somebody's ears back. And I'm like, oh boy, you do that, Lucy. Go, just let me know. And then she get my ears afterwards. The last memory I have, and again, of which I have so many, and Michelle, I can't thank you enough for those photos. Michelle Dunstan was kind enough to send me a bunch of photos. Michelle, you're like my personal photographer. I don't know how you do it. Everywhere I'm turning, Michelle's there taking some kind of selfie, but you got so many pictures of me and Lucy that I wasn't expecting, and thanks for that. It rattled me and it shook me. I got the call way too early in the morning. The last thing I remember of her, it was just last week, and as Marilyn alluded to, the staff did get raises. I hadn't gotten a raise in several years, nor did many of my staffers, but why I bring myself in particular is because I said, it's been about 2 or 3 years, Lucy, and I ended up with 2% for each year that I was owed, which was 4. And she said, Chris, that same night, she goes, Chris, if I can give you 40, I would. But 4 is what you get because that's all we got. And that's honestly the last. It just showed Lucy, and that's all I can say, guys. I'm distraught. I spoke to Lucy multiple times. Yeah. So look, on behalf of myself and the staff, man, we're gonna miss her. Thanks.
That was tough, Christian. Thank you for that. You're making me tear up now too.
Sorry. I was trying to set the precedent, you know,
No.
but yeah, man. This is,
I
that's
know, no, it's really sad. I know.
Yeah, thanks.
How are we gonna get through the meeting now? Oh my goodness.
Sorry about that, guys. Sorry, I shouldn't have gone first.
Okay. Is that all for you want to say anything else, Christian? Or
Yeah, no, look, I mean, well, again, I hate to kind of stay on it, but as far as the board office goes, look, we're running pretty well. We are working at least somewhat remotely. I'm not 100% in. I'm doing maybe 3 days on, 2 days off, as is Christina. Margaret is, in fact, in every day. And I did say to Margaret that I would speak on behalf of the staff as well. I can't tell how many of us will make it to the funeral arrangements in the next couple of days. I certainly will be there. But as far as the board office goes, which is standard operating procedure for us, you know, we did send a basket on behalf of the board.
Right. So
We
what I'm
sent,
saying, I have connected
we
that
sent
to
the basket on behalf of the board office to the funeral home, and we're good to go.
okay, thank you, Christian, and thank you to you and Margaret and Christina for handling all that on behalf of the board.
for Margaret tomorrow. And that,
Okay, so we're gonna go, like I said, our reports weren't that long. We're gonna go into open session number 1. So I'm gonna take attendance. I'm gonna do it as usual. We're gonna go through everyone's name. When it's your time to speak.
so this is the community board meeting and next
Hold
week
on
is
one
the
second.
Hold on.
Okay,
Yeah.
someone
Wait a
is
second.
speaking in the background or has background noise, please mute yourself. It's a lot of interference right now. Okay, thank you. Yeah, because especially we're going into open session and we want to use this time as not only, take attendance, talk, share whatever news you have or, about something going on in the community yourself, but also take the time if you also have something you want to share or talk about Lucy. So we're going to use this section for both. It's going to be a memorial. Take your time. We're not going to limit anyone to 2 minutes. So don't worry about the time limit on that. And then after we're done, we'll say, another moment of silence. And then we have the report from elected officials. We have a speaker and then just the committee. So, it's we can take our time. It's not too much of a heavy agenda tonight. Okay, so Chao Chung Chen. Okay. Yi Chen. Okay. Linda Corral. No? Okay. Lorena Diaz. No? Okay. Michelle Dunstan.
Unmute. Hi, good evening, everyone. God bless everyone. I'm stoned, I'm shocked. And I am gonna miss Lucy because as you know, I work for the 110 precinct. So I'm like seeing her regularly there, moving the cars to one side of the street, so active. And also she helped me so much. I'm new. When I came in, she just embraced me and she helped me with everything. When I said I wanted to be the chair, she was like, don't worry, I'll help you, And when I was the president of Tenant Association 4 years ago, she gave me all the information what I needed to get my organization started. I am gonna miss her so much. It was such a huge blow for me. And I felt really bad because I missed our meeting Monday because I had another meeting and I wanted to call her because I try to support everybody's committee. And I also thank them for supporting my committee because it's new. So I was so distorted that I did not make that meeting. I called Clara and I said, oh, Clara, I feel so bad because I missed Lucy's meeting. And she said, oh, don't worry about it. People miss meetings sometimes, but I try to make all the meetings. And I'm so sad because that would have been the last time that I would have been able to say anything to her. But I know our community is at a huge loss. And I just hope that everybody remembers those little things that she used to do for us and show us, she was training us and preparing us for this day. that we could be able to step up and never fill her shoes, because she did so much. It'd take about 10 of us to do all that work. But remember those little things that she gave to us, because she touched each and every one of our lives. I'm going to truly miss her. Rest in peace to our sister, Lucy. And thank y'all for giving me the time. I don't want to take it off, but my committee also, we're doing okay. Okay. And I'll give a better report next month. But God bless you all. I love you guys. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Thank you, Michelle. That was beautiful. Thank you. Aria Spinall.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's well. I'll take a moment of to speak about Lucy. You know, I'm a sports fanatic, and we quite often, when there's the best player, we call them the GOAT, the greatest of all time. And Lucy was literally the GOAT when it came to public safety and knowing what the community wanted and keeping Corona and Elmhurst the way it was. And we have to truly admire advocates and community leaders like her. And she will go down as the GOAT in that, as being the chairwoman and keeping us safe when it came to everything that was happening in the community. And I appreciated her. I, as well, like Christian, known her for a really long time. I've been involved, everyone knows how long I've been involved, and I've known her since probably I could put my left foot and my right foot together. So she's truly going to be missed, and I appreciate her, and we will all miss GOAT. So good night, everyone, and I hope everyone stays safe, and happy Valentine's Day to all.
Thank you so much, Ari. Leanne G. Valley.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. I didn't know Lucy as long as many of you, but I was deeply impacted by her presence. I mean, she was the first person to speak to me at the first community board meeting I ever attended. And I was talking about the Target that was being built across the way and no one knew about it. And she thanked me so sincerely and was like, this is why we need people to come to these meetings. And so then I started coming to the meetings, and now I'm on the board. And when I think of a community board member, I will always think of Lucy as that person. So I am so deeply touched, and I can't imagine for those who have known her for decades. So I said to my husband, I hope she knows that she was very important to this community, and it is a sincere loss. And I feel for everybody. If you need anything, you all have my contact information.
Thank you, Leanne. That was beautiful. Okay, so Marilena Giampino, I'm here. So yeah, I wrote a lot, and I hate reading, but I just felt like, you know, you don't know what to say sometimes. You have so much to say. But I first met Lucy when I joined the board. It's almost 8 years ago now. And like everyone's saying, she was always so welcoming. She was actually, like, I would say, like the mother hen of the board. And she's just always, like, you know, so encouraging, and she would want to help with everything and kind of guide you and, you know, give her expertise and her advice. And that was really, really helpful, you know, like, you know, when you're a new member, of course. And just talking to her about, you know, being on several groups in Elmhurst, and she's like, oh yeah, I know this one, I know that one. And she really did know everybody, and it was just amazing. But I mean, Lucy was just always there. You know, she was at every meeting. She even attended other people's committee meetings or just other community meetings that maybe she wasn't even, like, you know, she didn't have to go, but she just always attended, especially if it was like a very, like, controversial issue or an issue that she cared deeply about. She, you know, she was just always there. I don't know how she found the time for everything, but it's amazing. And she really did everything from the goodness of her heart. Like, she didn't want any money, she didn't want fame, she didn't want any awards, like she didn't want any of that. And that's very rare to find someone that just gives themselves so selfishly and doesn't want anything back from it. She just really wanted the best for her community, you know, for Elmhurst and Corona. That's really, she just wanted to improve her neighborhood, public safety, basically the benefit and quality of life of the residents first, and that's really what she wanted for Elmhurst and Corona. So she really worked hard on that for so long, and I just can't believe that, you know, we lost someone like that, because like Michelle was saying, we're not going to find anyone to replace her, to take her place, to fill those shoes. I mean, it's just impossible how much she dedicated herself. And for that, I'm very grateful. I'm grateful that, I had time with Lucy and I learned from her, and, we all kind of fought a lot of battles together, that we thought was best, for our community. And we just, it's just so many memories, and she's just going to be really, really missed. And I'm just so glad that that we had her, that the Elmhurst and Corona had Lucy. So it's very rare, and we're very fortunate. So so yeah, I mean, I have a lot more to say, but I'm not going to go on and on and on. But we're all going to just miss her, and it's really, really heartbreaking. But I'm hoping that we can do some tributes, some things, maybe, talking down the line with the family, and several things that we could do as a community. And she's just really important that, she all viewed us as family. So we have to continue that, work together, and continue, the relationship we all have with each other, and the work that we're doing. That's it. Thank you, everyone. Okay, Kristen Gonzalez. Lara Gregory.
Thanks, Marilena. Good evening, everyone. As most of you know, I'm one of the newer members of the community board. This is just my second year. And when I learned that Lucy passed away through the email, I was just heartbroken about it, because with Lucy, she just encompasses what one of my favorite authors said, that it is not what we think or what we say that matters, it's what we do. And Lucy was that. She was kind, she served, and she was faithful in doing it. As a new member of the board, I've never felt her feel indifferent to me. She was kind. And I do regret that I missed the last meeting because my niece was in the hospital. But she'd always seek me out. She's very affirming. She was very welcoming. And she was that person that I really felt that kindness and welcome in all of the members, from all of the members of the board. And the kind of service that she did, because I was attending the Public Safety Committee meeting, and I saw her. It was just really something that she loved to do, the service. She'd talk to the applicants, and she didn't show an ounce of impatience, even if some of them kept us waiting or they wouldn't even bother to show up. But with Lucy, I saw how she was patient through it all. She was affirming and she was kind to the applicants. That's leadership to me. And I learned from her too. As I did say, even if I'm a lawyer, I joined the board knowing that I will learn also from most of the people who have served far longer than we all have, like Lucy. So she was kind, she served, and she was faithful. She served so long in the board. And like what Maria Lena pointed out, she wasn't even asking for anything. It's an incredible example to me of an amazing woman, to see the kind of person that Lucy was. And I wanted to also thank each and every one of you for being here and for doing this, Marilena, because we do need to grieve as a community, because it's a unique situation that even if I've been here for almost 2 years now, we haven't really seen each other like in person or in a gathering. But to feel this and to be with us and to do this and to process the loss that we all now suffer, it's something that we have to share with one another. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to honor Lucy.
Thank you, Lara. Okay, the Pinja Lama.
Yeah, hi everyone. It's me, Dipendra. Actually, I'm out of states. I'm in Nepal now to see my mother because she had a surgery yesterday. She had to do a two surgery, so I have to come emergency to the Nepal to see my mother. And because of the time difference, like it's 11 hours time difference. When I saw the email yesterday, I was like, no, like it's not gonna happen, because I was the Lucy was the first person who I talked with her because we are in the same committee and like she was the mentor for us, and yeah, I don't know how to express my feelings now, what I'm going through, and like and there's a lot of things like the Lucy was the best in community board. She knows everyone. She knows how to deal with the other people, how to deal with the community member. And I remember when we had a meeting, she always texts us like, "Hey, today's a meeting, and like you have to come." You know, she was best. That's all. That's all that I want to speak about her. And thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Vincent Losella.
Good evening. Could you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. It's funny because to start off with Lucy, I had an issue in the park with homeless by Hall of Science, and we had spoken about it in the parks meeting last week. So I said, let me reach out to Lucy because if anyone's gonna know how we could tackle it, she would know. And she goes, "You're on the community board. You're on the parks committee." She goes, use your resources with Christian and the community board and with anything. She really was like a mother. I'm only on the board 3 years. From the start, she was very, very, very welcoming, informative. Always called after the community board meetings ended, and we'd spend another hour on the phone, going over how we could work better with the precinct and stuff like that. And on that note, the condolences from Alperna and the entire 110 Precinct Community Council. They're just at a loss of words. But Lucy was a fixture in the community. She'll always be remembered. She was a very strong woman, very knowledgeable of what she did. So when we went for advice, we knew the advice we were getting was the best. And with any problems that we ever had, she always seemed to either have a solution or to know how to properly handle it. And that type of maternal instinct, it's going to be missed. There was a lot of issues that we always had back and forth. She'd ask, "What can we do with the council?" With a lot of her neighbors on the block and stuff like that. And just that phone call, I'm going to miss. Just the, I really don't know what else to say. I mean, she was just that influential in my life and many on the board. And it's just a woman like that will never be forgotten because she did everything not for fame, like you said, not for awards. And she led so many different organizations and was such an integral part of the community that we're really going to be at a big loss. And my prayers are for the family and her friends and for fellow board members that I don't know what else to say. Just prayers and thank you very much. I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry.
No, that was wonderful. I know it's hard for all of us, but thank you, Vinny. That was beautiful. I know this is tough, and we're like, everyone's saying such beautiful things. So this is really such a nice tribute, and I'm sure Lucy's looking down and hearing all of us. Hopefully, whatever your beliefs are, but that's what I'm hoping. Okay, next, James Lisa, Salvatore Lombardo. Sal, we can't hear you. Okay, I think you're good, Sal.
Hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to say I was very shaken by Lucy's the loss of Lucy because she's been on the board just about as many years as I have, 30-year area. And I admire her for her energy, a tireless energy, strength, and advocacy. Truly a Corona Elmhurst girl, truly today. to the T. And say a prayer for her, and hope everything is, God is with her, and give her a good seat up there. She deserves it. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Sal. Thank you. Carol Mashewski?
Yes, I can't add a lot to what others have already said about Lucy, except to say that she was focused, organized, and very willing to share her knowledge. Plus, she liked to hear about stories of travel, and that's a lot of what we did. I would tell her where I'd gone, what I'd done, because we go back to the mid-'80s when I was a volunteer on the Youth Services Committee and then on the Precinct Council. And she had committed to this community, and she never wavered. Rest in peace, Lucy.
Thank you, Carol. Kunhil Mahat?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Yeah, I'm still in shock. Like when I just heard the news, very, very sad. Just like everybody else said, I'm not gonna add much. But I'm just glad. I'm just glad that even during this pandemic, when we are conducting all this business virtual, I had a chance to physically meet Lucy. We participate in the community events. You know, we got to know each other, learn a little bit about each other. She's definitely gonna be missed. What a loss, not only for our community board, for the entire Queens, Such a active, interactive, energetic person. Gone too soon. May her soul rest in peace. She will be dearly missed.
Thank you. Patricia Martin?
Well, this has been very difficult for all of us. And all I can say, based on what everybody else has said, is ditto, ditto, ditto. But I do want to say that this has brought me not feeling like we are a community board tonight. I feel like we are family. And we are family that's grieving for our matriarch. And we are so thankful that we had her, that she taught us and we listened. And I will forever see her face, because she always sat across, and I will see her face always. And I thank God for her. That's all I need to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. That was beautiful. Sylvia Martin?
Good evening, everyone. When I got the call from Community Board 4, it was such shocking news. I was speechless. I just didn't know what to say. Lucy was a great community leader. She always made me smile, and she made me feel welcome. And very knowledgeable. I don't care what you ask her, she always would have advice or tell you where to go. So to everyone, I would just say, Lucy may be gone, but never forgotten. She will be missed, and my prayers go out to her family.
Thank you, Sylvia. Matthew McElroy?
Hi. I don't know that I have anything to say that hasn't been said very well by some of the people that just spoke. I got to work with her a little bit on this insanely intractable parking problem around the 110th. And she's funny, she's persistent as heck. She was a great person to work with. And it's a shame she's gone. Rest in peace, Lucy. Out.
Thank you, Matt. Ravenia McGowan?
She's here on the phone. Hold on, let me unmute her. Ravenia? Ravenia?
Marilena, maybe you want to come back around, or no?
Yeah, sure. So Christina, just let me know when you get her, okay?
Okay.
Right. Jose Murillo? Edgar Morales?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, I'm here. As you know, I'm a new member of the community. I didn't have the honor to meet her personally, but the legends are like that. I heard a lot about her. Just mentioning her name, we discovered how incredible she was. And Lucy, we are committed to follow your footsteps. Rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Edgar Moya?
Every single board committee, and she also filed for a city council, but she pulled out. There is a figure.
Somebody is talking in the background. I'm sorry. If you could just mute yourself. Ruby Muhammad? Sandra Munoz?
Oh, yes, I was trying to unmute myself. Um, when I got the news yesterday morning, the entire day shut down for me. That's it. Couldn't work, couldn't do anything. Just curled up on my sofa with my dog and really mourned Lucy. I know Lucy, I was going to say 40 years, but then I was like, she's only been on the community board for 30. I have not been on the board that long. I think maybe 8 years or maybe 10 or maybe longer. Lost track of time, but I know Lucy walking around the streets of Elmhurst, organizing, representing the residents, and then really fighting for the communities of Elmhurst and Corona. And I always said to myself, I want to be like Lucy. And life got in the way. And then I got the opportunity to be on the board and reconnect with Lucy. It was like we never lost touch. And I remember when we were meeting in person at the VFW or at the other location, the Italian, I don't remember the name.
Yeah.
Yes, Italian Charities. Oh my God. I would drive Lucy home most of the time after the meetings. And honestly, it was another hour in the car just talking and talking and talking about how to make Elmhurst better, what the community needed. And so hearing what everyone has to say, that's Lucy. Everyone, even people that know her as little as 2 years, you all got it right. And if anybody deserves a street named in their honor so that everyone who walks by can remember that Lucy was such an integral and it's a huge part of our community, it's Lucy. And so I'm proposing that now. I don't know if it's too early, but I just can't think of another. I mean, there's so many ways that we can honor Lucy's memory, but that is, I think, one of the best ways that we can honor her memory as well, that will continue for generations to come, because Lucy has always, her life has been this community. I thank you.
Oh, did you want to continue? I'm sorry. I thought you turned your camera off.
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Gurdeep Singh Narula?
Yes, I'm really very, very sorry when I heard we had a meeting on the 2nd, and all of a sudden, after 2 days, we heard from Christine that it is a great shock for the community, and I was really shocked. I have no word to say, and after this one, I talked to my wife so many times that we miss a great lady. She was a great and very honorable lady. We lost her. She is not the only, she is the key of the corona. She knows everything. And I had worked with almost more than a decade, and with the safety, public safety. And she very honorable, very decent lady. And everything, if he anything do, she was very calm, quiet, everything she has inside. And I want that God will give him a peace and rest of her soul where she goes. But one thing I can say later on, we should honor her is some kind of memory that where we have an office, we should change the name of the street to the Lucy Lucero. This is my request to all the board members. And she worked hard for the community board. She and selfless. She worked for everybody. So I have no word to say anything because I'm really upset. Okay, I wish to her where she go, and all the family members and board members that we should pray her, and we should work together, and we cannot find this kind of a person ever in our board. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gurdeep. G. Oliver?
Yes, I'm here. I don't know what to say besides I don't know how to feel right now about Lucy. She's known me since I was a child. So for me, my mom asked that I not get an email because I was so close to her. I'm still trying to process my feelings. But Lucy was always someone that was always smiling, always happy no matter what was going on. She always knew what to say, always knew how to make me feel better no matter what I was going through too. And as soon as I came home from college and was able to join CERT, I did too. And then when the time came for me to join the community board, following in Barbara and now her footsteps, I did. So I'm just a little bit at a loss and still processing my feelings. I miss you, Lucy, and I know you're watching down on us from a very good place. So thank you.
Thank you. Regina Oliver.
Mom's microphones and stuff is not working too well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I know she's here. All right. If she wants to say something later, let me know.
Okay. But she's probably feeling a lot like I am.
I know. No, I know it's very difficult. But like I said, I want to give everyone a chance. So if she wants to say something, definitely let me know.
I will.
Thank you. Thank you. Alexander Owens.
It took a while for it to finally kind of settle in and kind of comprehend what was happening. And I'm just starting to feel the loss of her presence, and by Thursday, I'm probably going to be a mess. But I guess kind of one of my fondest memories was before I even joined the board. She was the first person who really stuck out. Back when the meetings were a little bit more hot and heavy. She actually made me want to join and become a board member, and getting to know her over the years has been just a pleasure. She's always been there, like as you said. If you need her, she'll come at the drop of the hat. She'll rearrange her schedule to be at a meeting, and it's rare, and I miss her.
Thank you, Alex. Prima Pandey.
Hi, everyone. As a new board member, I didn't have the opportunity to work closely with her, but it's really beautiful to hear of all the lives that she touched. Someone said earlier about following in her footsteps, and I look forward to learning from those who learned from her as well, because her memory is still around. Thank you.
Thank you. Faru Panthi.
My mom would like to say something.
Sure. Georgina?
Yes, go ahead, Mom.
Okay, so I am shaken to my core about this. Christina.
Go ahead. What happened, Mom? I think we're having some more microphone problems again. One sec.
Oh, okay.
So I just
Go
don't
ahead.
know what to do. And my phone is messing up. I will just write to Lucy in my dreams. Thank you.
Thank you, Georgina. Okay, Peru Ponce. Alexa Ponce. Lindsay Quartini.
Hi, everyone. Really sorry to hear this news. I'm a new board member, so, we didn't have too much overlap, but I can definitely say from the meetings over the past 9 months or so, that is the presence that I will always remember from my, an introduction to the board and sort of setting the tone and setting the stage for just how involved and passionate, board membership is and what we can do. And so, I wish I could offer more personal anecdotes, but I think the thing I'll take away is that is the model, that is the template for how to successfully participate in a community. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Brian Ramirez. Ashley Reed.
Thank you, Marilena. I think someone said earlier that Lucy was a legend or like a legend, and I think that's a good way to describe her because she's kind of one of those people that you think is always going to be there and who's always going to be around. And now that she's gone, it's like we really, really feel the weight of her loss. I don't think there's anyone here who can say that she hasn't impacted them in some way. Back in 2014, when I was just looking for a way to get involved in the community, I just stumbled upon the CERT team, and I remember reaching out to the contact that was listed there, and it was Lucy. And I remember she responded pretty quickly. She responded maybe the same day that I reached out, and she was just so happy and so excited to get someone involved, especially like a young person. So from there, that kind of began my working relationship with her. She was just so, like everyone said, like a mother figure, or an aunt. She just was always willing to share her knowledge with you, always welcoming, always with a smile, always with encouragement. When I told her I wanted to join the board, she said, absolutely, I'll write you a letter of recommendation, no questions asked, so I probably wouldn't be on the board if it weren't for her. She just was just a light, and she just kept going, and I don't know how she did it. I don't know how she ran all the organizations she ran, how she stayed on top of everyone and everything. I'm gonna miss getting those text messages from her, reminding us of something. I'm just gonna miss, seeing her face around the community. And I truly do hope that she knows that she was loved. And I hope she knows that we loved and appreciated everything that she did for us and for the community.
Thank you, Ashley. Oscar Rios. Christian Romero.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I think everybody has a story about Lucy and their experiences with her. I'm no different. I very quickly, just when I joined the board, I was very young, very naive. I was 18, 19 years old, 8 years ago. And because I was so young and so naive, I knew Lucy very well because I knew she was the lady that extended the meetings all the time, always talking forever. Her report took the longest out of everybody else's. And it's funny because when you grow up, you start to the things you didn't like, you start to like, and the things you like, you start to not like anymore. And I started to value the passion that she spoke with at the meetings. How she was always passionate about public safety, community efforts, anything she was working with. She was always speaking with such passion, and it was motivating to see her speak in that way and to always be willing to lend a hand. I remember when I first started working in government, Lucy was like, "Good job, you're going to do great things. I'm proud of you." And it was strange when I was younger because it was somebody who I barely knew talking to me as a mother would talk to her son, and that just goes to say what everybody else has said. Lucy is really like a mother to all of us. So yeah, uh, we're gonna miss her greatly, and I know that we'll get through this because, like somebody said, we're a family. But she's definitely going to be sorely missed by all of us. So thank you.
Thank you, Christian. Clara Salas.
I met Lucy Chalero through Rose Brenda Boschal over 35 years ago. And I think it was Rose who brought Lucy to the community board. And Christian, you thought you had arguments with Lucy. You should have seen, do you remember the arguments Rose used to have with Lucy? About this and about that, about this street and about this business and about that, never ending. Arguments that we all learned from. And she was a teacher. She was my teacher. I learned so much from her about businesses in community, legal licenses. And I often wonder where she gets all this energy to do the search, to do the committee work, and all the work that she did in the community. Where does she get it? And incredible. And I never thought of Lucy that she would go this way. I thought that she would live till she's 90 years old. I would see her walking the street of Elmers and Corona as 90-year-old lady saying, "Pick up that piece of garbage from the floor. Don't leave that kind of call the police on you for you're not supposed to park your car in there." So I always thought of Lucy that she would be that kind of a person. She would be 95 years old, still walking around Corona, around Elmers, and doing the work that makes the difference. Work that is lasting. A work that will continue even though we're going when we're going. And that's what Lucy did. The foundations that she established will live after this moment, after her passing, because that's when people ask who did this and this and that, they'll go and dig and they find out it was Lucy Chalero. And now, Lucy, you're up there in that heaven with Rose, Richard Italiano, Anthony Caminetti, Josephine Caminetti, and other people in Corona and Younghurst that love and share with us so many good moments. And we will never forget you, Lucy. Never. Thank you. Thank you for everything you have done for us.
Thank you, Clara. Okay. Red Sevilla. Ergun Sherpa. Alton Derek Smith. Alton, I know he was here. Okay, I'll skip over Alton for now. Gregory Spock.
No.
Alton?
I can't get on.
Okay, we can hear you now.
I can't. Oh, okay. You can hear me?
You're
Yeah,
on. You're on. You're on. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know where I tap. I can't. Okay, I'm having technical difficulties. And I thought I'd be, anyway, with I don't know. I don't know where to begin. I don't even know where to end in terms of the loss. I really don't. The only thing I can think of is like with Lucy. Anytime Lucy spoke, I would feel like I was not given enough. I felt like I wasn't given enough community service because she was so passionate. And she worked so hard and she was so dedicated to to to, to the community. I can't describe. She was a model. Lucy, the loss is incredible. I don't know exactly what more I can say. And she was so warm. Um, I think I joined the board back in '90. I think that's around the time when she joined. I didn't stay that long. That was the first time. And I think that's when I first met her. And then when I joined later on, I could see that she had not changed. Her passion had just always been so strong and she gave so much. So she's gonna be missed and she loves so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Alton. Dewan Tariq? Marcello Testa?
Hello. Yeah, she was very dedicated. So sorry to hear, and she will be missed.
Thank you, Marcello. Deshaun Sterring? Lou Walker?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Lucy and I joined the board back in 1990 at the same time, March of 1990. So we were both on the board for 32 years. And Lucy and I did not always agree, but we could always agree to disagree and still be friends in the end. She will be greatly missed for many reasons. Obviously, it's been said here tonight. But I will especially miss her because she was such a hard worker and such a good person, and she will be missed severely. She will be missed severely, and that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Lou. Yilan Wang? Minwen Yang?
Hi, everyone. Years ago, I was at the Public Safety Committee where Lucy was the chair, and she was always so knowledgeable and always her suggestions are always so reasonable, and she prepared a lot of info before the meeting, so it really make our job much easier. I trust her knowledge, her heart. She doesn't discriminate anyone. I can tell she want to include everyone. I really I will miss her a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. May you? Okay, so we're done.
Carolina, if I may, I'm so sorry to bother you. Before you move on, Alexa Ponce seems that she's having audio issues, but she did text me something she'd like read. It's pretty short. If I can just get like a second or two.
Sure. She wants to
Yeah.
speak?
Yeah, she'd like to, but she can't speak, so she texted me what she'd like to
Oh,
say.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
a
sure.
pretty short statement. So on behalf of Alexa Ponce, I, as everyone else here, was so sad to hear the passing of Lucy, who to me was not just part of the community board, but was the community board. To me, Lucy stood for everything good about the community board, and she will not be forgotten. Lucy was a woman with such great energy and a spirit that couldn't be silenced or ignored. I too agree with naming a street after Lucy. All right. So
Thank you.
thank you, Alexa.
Before we go on, I want to make sure if I missed anyone or anyone didn't get a chance to speak.
Yeah, me.
Who's me?
Oscar.
Oh, Oscar. Hi, Oscar.
I just want to say that I was lucky and I had the honor to always sit next to her during the meetings, and we always exchange information. We always talked, and I'm really going to miss her, especially when we go back to the meetings again. I'm going to miss that chair that's always been next to me. So it was an honor to know her, and you know, I'm going to miss her like everybody else. And that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Oscar. Anyone else from the board that maybe wasn't here before, they're here now, or they had audio issues?
It's Linda.
Hi, Linda.
Hi. I also wanted to echo all of the sentiments that have been expressed tonight by all of the board members. Lucy was an incredible, force, and I admired and was very grateful, extremely grateful for the friendship, the kindness that she offered to me as a new board member. And I never got to thank her. And so I just wanted to express how grateful I am for her friendship and for the inspiration that she gave me as a board member. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Any other board members?
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, this is Rowena McGowan's daughter. She wanted to say something about Lucy.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Say good evening. Just talk. Good evening.
Hi,
Hello,
Rowena.
hi. Hi. I am so sorry to hear about Lucy. You know, we were such good friends. You could call on Lucy anytime you needed a friend. Lucy was always there to help you. She was such a wonderful person. She will be so missed. There was never a time that you could ask Lucy to do something for you that she was not always available. She was always there to help you, and she kept everybody in line as far as the board was concerned. She will be missed greatly. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ravinia. Any other board members that I might have missed?
No, beta, I'll go.
Okay.
Is
So
it
I
the
just
burner?
wanted to add that
It disturbance to you when
oh, Gurdeep, we can hear you. Mute yourself. I just wanted to add in my my 2 minutes that I probably went over. I forgot to mention an event because I felt like it. I don't know. I was just getting carried away with memorializing Lucy. But there's an event coming up this Sunday at 1 o'clock at Elmhurst Baptist Church. Myself, our group Elmhurst History and Cemeteries Preservation Society, Newtown Civic, and CB4. We're doing a little event. It's called Heart Bombing event. So heart bombing is like something that you do when you want to preserve a historic place. So we're doing heart bombing on the Valentina Yanta Pushinsky house in Elmhurst. So we're meeting up at Elmhurst Baptist Church at 1 o'clock to do arts and crafts. We're gonna, kids, all ages are welcome, and we're gonna make little hearts, and then have light refreshments, and just do little arts and crafts. You can write whatever you want, and then we're all gonna go over as a group to the house and put hearts on the gate. So we're, having some media, outreach and stuff like that. So if anybody wants to join us, and I know Lucy was happy that I was part of the NCA, and we started the group Elmhurst History. So hopefully she's there with us in spirit this Sunday. So if anyone wants more information, we'll send out an email probably soon tomorrow with the info. And that's it. So I want to just do, all the tributes are just so beautiful. I'm glad everyone got to speak and express themselves. And I just want to take, before we move on to the next session, I just want to take a moment of silence again for our fellow friend and board member, Lucy Shalero. Thank you, everyone. So we're going to be moving on to report from elected officials. And I know we have actually some joining us tonight. I know Councilmember Francisco Moya. Are you still with us?
I am. Thank you, everyone. I just want to say something about Lucy as well. Look, I knew Lucy since I was 14 years old. Actually,
You
Lucy
get a
was the
lot
one
of
that helped
feedback.
me form my block association.
I'm
Hold
so
on.
sorry to interrupt.
Francisco, there's a
Like,
lot of feedback coming from
we
you.
can't hear you that well. Yeah.
Let's see.
It's pure feedback, so it's just probably 2 devices that are on Francisco.
Is it still coming? Yeah, I hear that echo. Sorry, folks. I don't know what's going on, but you want to come back to me?
If you have your I don't know if you have like a laptop or computer, and then your phone maybe. So maybe just mute one of them. That would help.
I'm just on my laptop, so I don't know why.
Oh, well, now you sound okay.
You're clear, actually. Go
good.
for it. Run with it.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you. Sorry for that, the technical difficulties there. But what I was saying was, Lucy was just a great human being. Like I said, I've known her since I was 14 years old. She really helped me, begin the civic lesson that we were all seeking in life. And there's a saying out there by a very famous footballer, Sir Bobby Robinson, soccer player that is, and he says that a person only dies when the last person that loves them dies, and Lucy will live on forever in all of us. That's the person that she was. She touched each individual in so many different ways that the tribute that is being done tonight is truly her legacy. That she has touched so many different generations and had an impact on why we do what we do. All of you are here on a volunteer basis. She volunteered her life for 30 years for this community. And as Matt would say, it was always the argument of the parking right by the precinct, right? And she was just a woman who really truly believed in her community. She believed in making sure that she could help. That was Lucy, and that's someone that will never be replaced. And I had called Christian earlier today to say that my office is putting in. So Sandy, we are putting in to rename her block Lucy Shalero Way. It is a small tribute, but every time we will pass by, we will be able to point up there and say, here was a woman who made a real impact, not just on her community, but she changed the lives of so many of us, right? And I can only say that she was a family, and she was a good woman, and she'll be truly missed. We love you, Lucy.
Thank you.
Love you, Lucy, and we will continue to honor her legacy by doing what we're all doing right now, and that's caring for our community. Thank you for the opportunity to say a few words about Lucy. So I'm going to let my staff member fill you all in on what we've been doing in the community. But thank you for the opportunity, all of you, for allowing me to express how I felt about a really great woman who made a difference in my life. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we have I'll go back to Councilmember Francisco Moya's staff later, because I know we also have some other electeds on. Councilmember Shaker Krishnan.
Good evening, everyone. It's touching to see you all under such emotional circumstances too, and I appreciate Marilena, you're having every board member speak and pay tribute and respect to Lucy, someone who, as many have said before, and I would only be echoing what has all that's been said, but who was frankly ubiquitous in Elmhurst, in Corona, who personified what it meant to live a life of service, and also to show what it meant to be a community board member that was dedicated, that was passionate for her community, and to inspire so many others in doing so, to lead that, to be involved in your community in that way too. And I think there's no better testament to the impact that Lucy has had personally on so many than to every single person who knows her, who knew her, and who was touched and impacted by her, as we heard with every single tribute tonight too. And I think that is a testament really to the kind of selfless work that one individual has done over the course of her entire life. And so I know that in the work of the board that continues from here, it'll be done in her spirit and in her legacy, and that's how her work continues forward, and each and every one of us and you in the work that you all do as a board. And I know as well that, as always said too, may her memory be a blessing for all of us, for our communities, and that we can all aspire to do the work that she did so selflessly for so many years for our communities. And I just appreciate how much each person has said today too, that really reflects who Lucy was as an individual too. So with that being said, I just wanted to just express my appreciation to Marilena, to Christian for giving the space and the floor to everyone to express their thoughts too on such a difficult night as well. And I'll just be brief in my remarks too. I wanted to say that first, and then say to all of you too that I'm, as having just started in January, on January 1st, I'm looking forward to working with you all too on all of the issues that affect our communities. There's so much that needs to be done, and we know this firsthand. Looking past tonight and yesterday, but going further back and looking ahead too, we know how much our communities have endured and how much weight that we've carried as the epicenter of this pandemic, and what that's meant, and the stories that we know personally and individually, loss that we felt both in this week and for years at this point, going back to the beginning of COVID too, and how much it's impacted us. But what I do know too is that all of us as a community in that loss have shown how much strength and resilience we all have. Because as much as our communities were the epicenter of this pandemic, as much loss as we've suffered and continue to suffer in the last 2 years, we are also one of the communities that is most essential in this city too, that has made sure that our city has continued forward and carried it in many ways. So many of our residents are the essential workers that have carried this city on their backs through this pandemic, and the reason why our city and our communities have survived too. And that's just a testament to the strength and the resilience of our neighborhoods. And so in that sadness too, I think there's also a lot of strength and hope that we can draw from about who we are as neighborhoods of Elmhurst, Corona, Jackson Heights, East Elmhurst. And so with that perspective, even before coming tonight, that I shared, and really coming into office into January too, and knowing that the work ahead of us was to really rebuild our city in a way that really benefited everyone, knowing that what we faced and the impact that we faced as communities wasn't just a coincidence or an accident, but the result of decades of disinvestment in our neighborhood that we needed to correct now by getting more services and resources for our neighborhoods. And so just to tell you a bit, it's been a busy first month. Hard to imagine it's already been a month, but it's gone by fast because there's been so much that we've been doing. And just to speak briefly on a few points, just given the weight of tonight's meeting, just wanted to keep it short. We started out initially by actually, in the middle of the Omicron wave of the pandemic. And so one of the things that we noticed right away as an office was that there were very few testing sites in Elmhurst and overall in the Council District 25. And so we worked very closely, put a lot of pressure on the city to secure additional testing sites for our community, which is how we were able to get the testing site at Newtown High School that was an HHC site. to work with Elmhurst Hospital to really ensure another issue that we faced too was that there were very few sites that were testing young children as well under the age of 4. So for example, my younger son, we had nowhere to test him nearby too, but Elmhurst really working with Helen and the team there made sure to prioritize children and expedite the lines for them too when they came in to be tested, and really a testament to Elmhurst Hospital themselves and how heroic they've been during this pandemic. We were also in District 25 able to secure the first testing site in the first federal CDC testing site in all of New York City was here in our district too. And really because we ensured as an office to put a lot of pressure on the city to make sure that we had accessible testing sites in our neighborhood. And from there, the next issue that we faced was schools reopening. And as a public school parent myself too, I know how anxiety producing it was to send our kids to school back in January when we were really at the height of the wave as well. And I was one of the parents and electeds really pushing to make sure that we had a remote option for our children, for those who were either sick and had to quarantine at home or otherwise unable to come to school, while also keeping school open as well. Because if there's one thing that I know as a parent of two toddlers, it's much better when they're in school and we can do our work at home too. So we made sure to push that. I had a meeting one of the first meetings actually that the new chancellor had with our education chair, Rita Joseph and Farrah Lewis, to express our concerns on these issues. And it was a very productive meeting. And soon after, he also came out this administration. The mayor met with us all as electeds too, working with all of us to create a remote option in the meantime while our schools continued open as well. And in addition to that, the other development of the last month too was that I was appointed as the chair of the Parks Committee in the City Council as well. Something that I was really, I found very important because I'd always seen, we know it well in Elmhurst in District 25 overall, that we have some of the least amount of park space in all of New York City. And that's not just a green space issue, but it's an issue of public health. It's an issue of housing justice because where we live, we know affects the ability for us to get the resources we need, but don't receive. And I wanted to frame parks as a social justice issue that way. And so that's the approach I'm taking to really think about expanding green spaces in our city and make sure our neighborhoods, our communities in Queens are prioritized when it comes to green space and expanding green space. And it was great to stand with the new Parks Commissioner and the mayor this past Friday when the new commissioner, Sue Donahue, was announced, who also shares the same vision as does this administration of parks equity and making sure that neighborhoods like ours receive equitable resources and treatment when it comes to our green spaces. And we published an op-ed in Gotham Gazette on that issue as well. And then just finally, on the last few notes, things that have been keeping us busy recently too. We've been working very closely with Elmhurst Hospital. Recently did a tour with them of the first wellness center in an entire public hospital system for its employees that was set up at Elmhurst Hospital. The first chief wellness officer, which is really a moment of pride for our community to know that our public hospital, in a world where our public hospitals deserve much more in resources from our city, we were able to stand there to tour their new wellness center as well. And I also was just recently today actually at PS 13 for their Broadway performance as part of the CASA program too, which is something that really provides after school cultural and arts programming for our public schools. It was great to be there with Principal Velez too, and to see how much our children have enjoyed being exposed to arts and culture at such a young age in elementary school. And finally, this Saturday, we're going to be having our Lunar New Year celebration at CC Moore Park, which we've we'll make sure we've shared the flyer. We'll make sure to keep sharing it too. And we hope you all can come out. It'll be something small we can do because of the pandemic. We want to do it outside, but we hope you all can come. And the only other thing I wanted to add, just two last quick points was Marlena mentioned the Yanta House. That's been a fight that I've been involved with for a long time with all of our leaders here in Elmhurst to preserve this special place and stop the historic the destruction of Elmhurst and its history to prevent its demolition by a developer. And so we're also submitting a letter, working closely with Marlena, James, Jennifer Ochoa too. We'll be submitting a letter as an office this week to the Landmarks Preservation Commission, strongly opposing, as I've done in the past, the demolition efforts here, and to make sure this site, the Yanta House, is landmarked as well. And finally, our office is fully open. We have a staff that is multilingual between all of us. We speak approximately 9 different languages. We're keeping the same office that Councilmember Drum had. And while we're remote now because of COVID, you can always reach us. We also have one from our staff, Shamina Rahman, who's on this call and this meeting as well. And we're very happy to work with you and serve you in any way. Of course, one of the big issues we're seeing now is the rise of evictions and eviction attempts by landlords because the eviction moratorium is up. And we're getting a lot of calls and emails from tenants about that issue. We just worked with a man in Elmhurst who was on the verge of eviction. The marshal was going to show up at his door, but we were able to thankfully stop it, working with the Legal Aid Society. And that's something that we're keeping a close eye on, as we know more and more cases like these will come on many different issues. But that's the full report of what we've been up to. Looking forward to working with you all as a board for our communities of Elmhurst and Community Board 4 overall in our District 25. And as I said before too, it's somber and poignant to be with you all tonight, on this night especially. Thank you.
Thank you, council member, and thank you for the beautiful intro. We're looking forward to working with you, and hope we can have a meeting soon. And the board is definitely, looking forward to working with you now and in the future. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Okay, we have another elected official. We have Assemblyman Brian Barnwell joining us.
We can.
How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry, I think the video's working too. There we go. Thanks for having me. Obviously very sad day. I didn't know Lucy too well. I knew her a little bit. But I can sense the pain and from everyone here, and just hearing everyone tell their stories, choked me up. And I'll be praying for her, and we're praying for her family, and praying for all you. I'm sure she'd be smiling, obviously hearing all the nice words that everyone said about her. So I would definitely keep her in my prayers. Obviously keep this really short as well. So our office, we actually, we've always had CB4, and we just under redistricting. I'm sure you all heard about that. We'll be picking up more on CB4. And I want you all to know that you can always call my office anytime about anything. We're here to help. I want to do everything I can to make sure that the problems that everyone is dealing with, that I'm also involved, and do my best to solve them. I know how frustrating it is, obviously, speaking with the city agencies, right? I know Christian and I have gone back many times over many issues with sanitation and DOT, and none of them want to take the lead on it, right? So I'm here to help. Please always consider me someone that can help. I will try to help, and I always will. Whether it be for illegal dumping, whether it be for graffiti, whether it be for as Shaker said, the Councilman Shaker said, regarding evictions, right? I mean, we constantly get a lot of calls about that, obviously. Just if you don't know where to turn, just always reach out to our office. Our office actually speaks 30 languages through our staff and interns. And so we is not really a language that we don't speak. And again, just here to help. And I can talk hours upon hours about legislation that I think my CB4 might be interested in, but that's for another time. Thank you again for having me.
Thank you, Assemblyman. Thank you. Okay, so I think we don't have any other elected officials joining us, but we will have some people from the office speaking. But before I get to that, Detective Dave Sapinieri from the 110th is present. Detective?
Good evening. Can everybody hear me?
You're a little low, but we can hear you.
Okay. Once again, I just want to offer my condolences to the loss of Lucy Shalero. I've known her personally for close to 15 years, and her living on the block every day, just pulling in, finding a parking spot, and seeing her out there, and her saying hello to me and wishing me a good day and be safe. And we would talk weekly, and she was just so involved, and she did just care so much about the community, not even her block, but your block where you live, or what's going on in your neighborhood. She was a huge asset. We're really going to miss her, and we want to be involved in the services as much as we can. And I've been in touch with her family and her brother, and we're going to try to give her a nice tribute. But with that said, again, just sorry for the loss of the board.
Really, really, really quick. There's a huge Department of Labor scam going on. Maybe some of the elected officials have seen this coming into their office. Some people that were not able to receive benefits due to COVID were able to apply for a card, and it's preloaded with up to $15,000 on it. And these cards are being scammed, whether they're victim of a skimming device at an ATM, or somehow their card was, compromised in the mail somehow, but they're being scammed. That's why our grand larcenies are so high. We're up nearly 400% in grand larcenies. We had 116 of these just in the last 28 days. And dating back about 3 months ago, we had over 400 of these reports. So it's something that's pretty widespread. And also just, your own personal spendings, just, monitor your behaviors and what you do, and change your passwords frequently and things like that. And keys in the ignition. People are still leaving their keys in the ignition, running out, getting a cup of coffee. Even these key fobs, these keyless entries in the cars, people think it's safe. Even if you have the key fob, the car could still be driven away. So even if you want the car, you're parking and going to get a cup of coffee, running into the store, getting a bagel, that car could still be driven away. And we had a number of them in the last 28-day period. So please be mindful of that. And you're just going to see a big increase still in the transit system. We hope that you're feeling safe at these major transit hubs. You're going to see an increased police presence in and around these transit hubs. Other than that, that's it for me. And thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Detective Stephanie. Thank you so much. Okay, Christina, if you could let me know, just to expedite this, what representatives are here from the elected offices?
Yes, we have Meng, AOC, and Councilmember Moya's office.
Who was the second? I'm so sorry.
AOC.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, so yeah, representative from Grace Meng's office first.
Good evening, everybody. I also want to offer my sincere condolences for the loss of Lucy. From hearing all the touching tributes that you all have given, I can tell that she had a profound positive impact on you all here in Community Board 4, as well as on the community as a whole. And so I'll make my remarks brief as well in order to leave more time to honor her memory and mourn her passing. 2 quick pieces of legislation that Congresswoman Meng has been working on. She introduced legislation to make the Lunar New Year a federal holiday, which would add to the list of 11 already recognized federal holidays. And she also reintroduced a House resolution to recognize the cultural and historical significance of the Lunar New Year and wish everyone a happy and prosperous holiday that is celebrating. Additionally, she is co-sponsoring the COVID-19 Price Gouging Prevention Act, which would protect consumers against unreasonable price hikes in the COVID-19 pandemic as we're dealing with supply chain issues. Such as this covers supplies such as food, water, personal protective equipment such as masks, medical supplies, and things of that nature. Also, I do want to highlight the fact that we are hosting an annual nonprofit security grant program workshop. It'll be held on February 15th from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And the workshop helps houses of worship as well as other nonprofit organizations to obtain funds from this program that provides these organizations with that face a high risk of threat from terrorist attack or other security threats, with funding to target funding to help bolster their security enhancements and provide them with funding for better security systems in their houses of worship or places of meeting, as well as staff such as security, and funding to help get these installations made. If you or anyone you know that is a chair of a nonprofit organization or a house of worship is interested in getting more details, I will enter my email into the chat. You can reach out to me directly, and I will provide you with all the information as well as the mode to R2P. And again, that is on the 15th, Tuesday, and it's from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You have any telephone number?
He's gonna put his information in the chat.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much. Congresswoman Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez.
Michelle, are you there? Michelle?
Yeah, Marilena,
Yes, we
just come
can.
come come
Yeah.
back now, maybe.
Okay, so the last representative is from Councilmember Francisco Moya's office.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Berenice from the Office of Councilmember Francisco Moya. I just want to express my condolences and sentiments to Community Board 4 because we truly lost an amazing woman. I'm going to go ahead and share some of the updates from the office. I'm going to go ahead and try to do it as brief as possible. So during the month of January, we had multiple mass distributions. We were able to distribute KN95s as well as COVID test kits, surgical masks, and hand sanitizers. Tomorrow, we will be having a the same distribution with Left Rectangular Association. It's going to be located at 57th Avenue and Junction Boulevard, Left City at 4 p.m. This is part of the council members' ongoing efforts to ensure our communities continue to have access to resources to protect themselves and others from COVID-19. Of course, the mask, hand sanitizers, and home test kits will be distributed on a first-come, first-served basis while supplies last. Last month, Parks coordinated a community input meeting for Parks of America reconstruction of the basketball courts and the comfort stations via Zoom. You can still share your ideas until tomorrow, February 9th. I'm going to go ahead and post the link. As New York City makes its way to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic, the new mayoral administration invites you to help shape its priorities and policies. So there's currently a survey. New York City Speaks is a citywide engagement initiative to sign to ensure that New Yorkers are heard. I'm also going to go ahead and post that link. I know I mentioned this last month, but applications for the fiscal year 2023 discretionary fundings are still available. The deadline is Tuesday, February 22nd. So I'm going to go ahead and post a link for our office. Just please note there's a supplementary form that has to be filled out by February 22nd. And I'll also be posting additional information for testing sites and vaccination sites in the chat. And of course, if you have any questions, you could feel free to call our office at 718-651-1917. You could email me and I'll be posting that in the chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bernice. Christina, is Michelle there?
It doesn't seem like it. Michelle? Michelle, are you there?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Michelle? Okay, well, we're gonna have to move on.
We just had you, Michelle.
So sorry.
You're
Can you hear me
unmuted
now?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm so sorry about these technical difficulties. Thank you so much. So this is Michelle from the Office of Representative Ocasio-Cortez, and firstly, I want to express our sincerest condolences to you, the friends and colleagues of Lucy Sholero. And then I'll keep our remarks brief. So on January 26th, our office hosted a town hall with New York City Health Commissioner Dr. Dave Chokshi. You can watch a recording of the event on our YouTube page, and I'll leave that link in the chat. So our next town hall will be on February 15th at 5:30 p.m. and I'll include the link to register in the chat. Last week, we passed the America Competes Act in the House with one of the Congresswoman's amendments that prevents companies from using any of the $52 billion allocated under Creating Helpful Incentives to Produce Semiconductors Fund from being used on stock buybacks or the payment of dividends to shareholders. And the Congresswoman's bill support for debt relief for developing countries was also included in the act. Tax season is here and the IRS is encouraging people to file early. Eligible New Yorkers can use New York City free tax prep services, including in-person tax prep, drop-off service, virtual tax prep, and assisted self-prep to file taxes for free. And I'll put the information for that in the chat as well. And lastly, the Congresswoman is hoping to rename the Corona Post Office located at 103rd and Roosevelt. And we're asking for suggestions from community members, and I will put the link to a very brief survey in the chat. We ask that you please share with your circles and don't hesitate to tell people to call us as well with suggestions. We're all ears. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And just a reminder from tonight's meeting, everything that's been in the chat or shared, we are going to send a recap email out so everyone can look for information there if you didn't get it. Okay, so we're going to be moving on to tonight's speaker, Eugenia Di Girolamo, Deputy Director of Urban Design Office, New York City Department of City Planning. So I first saw the presentation at the Borough Board meeting actually last month. And when I heard that there was a cutoff for the survey at the end of February, I said, we got to get this presentation to the board. Everyone needs to know. I think everyone, especially Elmhurst and Corona, we should all definitely take this survey that the Department of City Planning is actually giving, which is, I think, very rare. I haven't seen that. And urban design is such an important part of any community. And I feel like in New York City, we lack urban design. We just build wherever. And we, us as a board, we know we get those applications like, this is going up, this makes no sense. Why do we have this? Why don't we have more say? Why don't we have more things for the community instead of just, giving, more profits to developers and we get nothing out of it. So I think this is a great opportunity to hear the presentation and then also, have a say in the survey that the city planning is doing. So Eugenia, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you so much, Chair, and thank you so much for giving me the time to talk to you today and bring up this exciting effort that we have at the Department of City Planning. Like everyone else, I want to express that I'm very sorry for the loss that the board has experienced. I was scheduled to present to you tonight for quite some time, and I'm really here to engage with you, but I also understand that if you'd like me to come back or just follow up with questions that may come up or thoughts that may come up at a later time, you should feel free to reach out directly. And I would love to have a separate conversation or even just an email exchange. I'm definitely available in any way that I can for the board. I would like to share my screen if that's possible. I don't think that's the system is allowing me.
Yes.
Great, thank you. And perfect, that was very quick. Here, I'll share the website with you directly and let me know if you're not seeing it. The website you see here, it's a very simple URL. It's goodurbandesign.nyc and we can share it in the chat and as the chair mentioned in the follow-up to this meeting. But the goal of this site was really to hear from New Yorkers about how the built environments, so the buildings, the streets, everything like the land uses in your community, the parks, really affect your experience of the city and your quality of life. This is definitely in the end what urban design is, and I invite you to see when you land on this site, you have here this quick video that you can find on YouTube. It's only 4 minutes long. It really starts to break down what is urban design and how can you understand some of the more technical concepts that are used by the planning department and just by the urban designers everywhere in the city. The video is in English. It could also be seen in Spanish, as you see here. The video could be closed captioned in any language through YouTube, so that's very exciting for us. You also are able to select a language from the drop-down menu up here and translate the site in any language that you may prefer. And that's something that we've added because of community feedback as well. So really here, this is the heart of the site. We really believe that every New Yorker has a role to play in shaping their city. And it's very important that not only we hear from you, but also we provide you with the tools, with the language that you need to engage with the city, to engage with developers, to engage with property owners in having a conversation and sharing your ideas and making sure that your ideas are heard and implemented. So what you'll see here is really just three main activity. The first one, which is tell us what matters in your neighborhood. You'll be linked to a survey. The survey is also available in all of these languages that you see here. Asks you what neighborhood you live in, how long you've been living there, and really starts to get at these principles that we created about 4 to 5 years ago. They're the principles of good urban design, which the city follows. To be honest with you, this was created really with the practitioners in mind, so architects and designers. And we felt as we revisited them last year that we really needed to change the language because it was not accessible by everyone. And also they were not created by everyone in the community and New York City. So that's why we embarked in this effort to share them publicly and ask people to comment on them. So we, in the survey, we asked people to rank them, what is the more important to them, and the 4 principles as they are now are buildings and public spaces should reinforce the surrounding neighborhood sense of place or the unique way it looks and feels. The city should be accessible and easy to move around. Public spaces should feel comfortable, welcoming, and safe to all. Buildings and public spaces should be designed with attention to detail. And we're not saying that these are not all important. We want to understand in different parts of the city what is your highest interest. What is it you're looking for in urban design of your city? And of course, we ask you to tell us, what did we miss? Did you think that there's a principle here that we may have missed and we should add or we should change? And then there's a deeper dive in each principle, asking for a bit more detail on each of them. And we're asking if you have any additional comments and a little bit about yourself. That this is an optional part if you're interested in providing that information that is quite general. As the chair mentioned, the survey has been open since mid-September. We're trying to spread the word as much as possible. That's why we're presenting to community board, and that's why we present, at the borough board, and that's why we're presenting to you tonight. We unfortunately will have to close the survey the first week of March. We were able to extend it an extra week, and that's why we're here tonight. We're here for you to know about the site, for you to share it with your friends, with your family, with your colleagues, with your constituents, anyone you know. We want to hear from you, and we need to hear from you, especially for the survey, since this will close. Then we have, this is an interesting exercise where we ask people to share a story about their neighborhood, and people just been giving us ideas on how it feels to be in their neighborhood. And this could be shared by anyone on anything regarding to your neighborhood, and people can interact with each other. And this is really a way for people to share stories about their neighborhood, and not only to share things that are not working, but also things that are great, things that you love, that you want other people in New York City to know about your neighborhood. That said, I want to clarify that this is not ideas for projects. It's really more about quality of life and how does it feel to live in your neighborhood, so that we have a place for people to share that publicly. This effort is not going to highlight projects to do or realize in the city, but it really to start a conversation around design and quality of life in the city. And to create principles that are shared by everyone, and then we can use in our conversations as we evaluate projects in the city. The second to last thing I wanted to share is here, which is the give your feedback on the principles of good urban design. Here you can read them and actually read a brief description of what they mean. And you can see here by either going to discussion or doing a quick reply, you can tell us your thoughts. You tell us if you think we should change the language, if it should be different. As you can see, several people have posted on each of these principles, and a few discussions have started here as well, which is quite interesting and exciting. And of course, again, we have what have we missed? Is there something that we're not mentioning that you think we should include? The last thing I'll say is that we've also included a community planning guide. By clicking here, you will be rerouted to this PDF, which is a one-pager on how to engage with public process. I know most of you are super well versed on what that means, but for other people that is not as understood. So we wanted to make it simple. just asking the question, how would you like to shape your neighborhood? I would like to make an improvement, for example, request a tree or a street light, or I would like to propose a big idea for my neighborhood. What type of big idea? Well, who should you engage with? Or I want to give feedback on existing projects. And so we kind of walk people through how they can do that. And if you click on the stars here, it will redirect you to a resources page where you can get to know where your community board is, or how to participate in ULURP process, or how to request that bike rack or that street tree that I was referring to earlier. So really, this is mainly it. We have a tab on how to use the principles. We want to expand on this a lot more by the spring and summer, and get back to you on how you can use the principles in practice in your review of projects that come to you, or a glossary as well, where we start to break down some of the most complex topics and concepts that are often used in planning and design. So we really want you to share this, engage with the site, share the word, and also, again, use it as a tool to your advantage. Even if the site may be, the survey may be closing soon, I would love the site will stay open, and all of the tools, the resources and links will stay up so that you can use them in your work with the community board. So I kind of want to stop here because I want to be mindful of your time. I'm here to answer any questions, and I can also share, you have the link to the site in the chat, but I can also share my email address, and I invite you to also reach out directly if you have any questions in the next few weeks.
Thank you. I'm going to open up the floor to any board members if anyone has any questions. You could either, speak or raise your hand or wave your hand, whatever. Yeah, Matt. We can't hear you.
And why is that, Matthew? Okay, a quick question. Is this primarily, I couldn't read one of your slides, it was just too small when it came up. Is this primarily directed to the built environment, buildings, structures? That's what we're talking about here, yes?
Yeah, we're talking about anything that is the public realm and that defines the public realm. And by that, we mean buildings, streets, parks, open spaces, the waterfront, for example. So pretty much everything that is built, yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I just wanted to add, I know you said if you wanted to put a section like what did we miss. So I looked at the survey. I haven't done it yet. I plan to do it actually. But for instance, the history of the neighborhood, we want more preservation, which I don't know how you would fit that into zoning. Obviously, that's a New York City Landmark Preservation Commission issue. But then you guys, Department of City Planning oversees any issues that are, warranted for that property, and they work together with the LPC. So that would be great if we can create more, historic landmarks, historic districts, but also not just with that, but the design aspect of it. So let's say you have some blocks of row houses or historic houses, and then you have someone that knocks something down and puts something completely out of character and doesn't go with the flow of the block or the flow of the community. Are you going to be interested in design codes as well?
Yeah, I mean, that is a great comment, and I definitely invite you to include it in the survey so we have a record of it. So I should say that the goal of this effort is really to create principles that are shared among all the agency, New Yorkers, and also the community boards. So that's what the product will be. And I think that something like the principle number 1, which talks about sense of place within a community, and that includes landmarks and the historic fabric of the community, it is something that we should definitely keep in mind when we evaluate new proposals, really to understand how anything that comes new or that wants to change the fabric of the neighborhood, how does it fit in the neighborhood and how does it connect to everything around it to enhance everything around it. So this is what I think our thinking is so far, but I would definitely invite you to type your thoughts and including them in the site so that we can really understand what type of also words New Yorkers would like us to use.
And also, I know our board, Corona Elmhurst, you know, a lot of communities have been contextually rezoned, and is that something we can add, contextually rezoning?
I don't know if we will specifically, to be honest with you, mention zoning terms.
Okay.
We would love to keep it about design and the feel, the look and
Got
feel of a neighborhood. So, so far, this is where we're leaning towards.
Okay, and then
Because we
also,
would like for these to transcend zoning as well and be used by other agencies as well.
okay, great. And then my last thing is just, you were talking about trees, you know, community gardens, a lot of things like when you get a new building or a new structure, they can apply to plant trees off site instead of putting them on site. And I don't think that's a great thing in my opinion, because then the community is losing trees or not gaining trees. So, I mean, we could get as detailed as we want in this survey. Is that, you know?
I would say if that is extremely important to you and the community, I would say absolutely share that. I'll share that what we've been hearing so far, a lot of is making sure that we preserve green spaces and greenery or add greenery to our environments and to our streets and our neighborhoods. So I could see, since the principles are relatively general because they apply to the whole city, right? How do we include it in a way that just speaks to that, to the need of nature, enhancing nature in our neighborhood, in our communities? So I think we can probably phrase it more along those lines. But yes, it's a great point.
Marilena?
Yes,
Hi.
Alton. Alton, you got to spread this to your committee. Don't forget.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was wondering what the deadline is. It March 1st?
Actually, we extended to March 4th, so that Friday. But so that first week in March.
So if we hold it for a Europe meeting, then we have to present it to the board. And the board meet the second Tuesday. So I'm just thinking that if the committee is able to meet and then get feedback from the community board, I'm just looking at the deadline.
Well, I mean, Eugenia, she mentioned that she can come back if we had any questions or wanted to share all our, any thoughts. So if you want to have a committee meeting and she doesn't have to present again, but we could just have her back to answer any questions or share or clarify anything. If that's what you want to do, Alton, it's up to you.
Okay, and the other question, once you receive the survey and you establish, I guess, some kind of foundation, is it applied by district, or you're just looking at all the communities and say this is what Queens is looking for, or this is what New York City is looking for, or are you saying this is what this particular district is looking for?
That is a great question and one that we've been thinking about a lot internally. The goal is to have principles that apply citywide, but we are gathering information by district and by neighborhood. So by borough, by district, and by neighborhood. Because we do ask that question at the beginning, what neighborhood do you live in? And so we would be able to provide you with the information that is specific to your board or to your neighborhood if it's requested. We would like to, we are committing to make the feedback and the information we receive available to the boards publicly if they're interested in looking into them. And we would love to come back and present to you about what we've heard from your board, or what we've heard from Queens, or even Western Queens or Eastern Queens, whatever you feel that it's relevant for you and your board. And we can definitely come back and share more specific site-specific data. That said, we need a lot of people to participate, because if only 10 people in your community district give us feedback, we can share that, but I don't know if it's really telling you anything about the larger community. So the more people participate, the more we can give you feedback back on what we've heard, and that helps us understand what is needed in each community.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
Any other questions from any board members?
Yes, I have a question to this lady. I went to yesterday, last week, I went to the Richmond Hill area, and I also went to a couple of areas. The city created new greenery area is a certain streets, and those those when they develop it, there's also people that throw the garbage in that area. They put a fence, city put a fence, they put a small plant, and I have seen. I was very upset because city is wasting money, and then why people are throwing the garbage, and if that's if they're not taking care of the areas, and some they've grown, and the people that is damaging to the is a sidewalk, and people that get a problem.
Yeah, that's a great point, and I don't know the project specifically you're referring to. It sounds like it could be Department of Transportation or Parks issue. I'm not exactly sure, but what I would like you to do in the context of this site is to share your thoughts on maybe cleanliness of our neighborhoods and the public spaces, and how we should really be stewards of public spaces, and we should make sure that maintenance is addressed.
The city create some area in the avenues. They put a small garden, they put a fence along it, and the people they're putting garbage. If
Yeah,
you're talking about,
I think you're talking about the bioswales or rain gardens.
yeah, rain garden.
Some of them are big, some of them are small, they're different sizes. But yeah,
and a lot of garbage. I can give the address so that if I go to Richmond Hill, I seen a couple of 2-3 streets. The people that throw garbage, and it's not a rain garden. They're not taking care of it. Even certain area in Queen, you can see the lot of they're messy.
yeah, I definitely write that in the comment section about cleanliness, and then also you have to team up with Carol and the environmental committee, because we're getting a lot of complaints about the rain gardens and bioswales.
And also a lot of this damage to the sidewalks. And if they are not, they're not taking, the city is not taking care of the sidewalk, and the people that get when they are hurt, and they sue the landlord, they sue the other people.
Yeah, I would definitely include that. I think you could probably put anything, and then they could take information and and kind of maybe come up with some ideas. But yeah, that's a good point.
I wish I could get the picture and I can send it to her. How the areas.
Well, I mean, we're the survey. So it's a website that we already gave everyone in the email for the board meeting. But there's the survey is a link in the chat, and we're also going to put the link for the survey in the recap email that we're going to be sending out. So I encourage everyone to fill it out. Does any other board members have anything else to add? Any questions? I just have one thing. I don't know if other people brought it up, but certain things like community centers, museums, cultural centers, is that all stuff we can add as well?
Absolutely. And I do believe as a designer that they are part of the fabric and what makes the social life of our neighborhoods. So I think they're a key aspect of our communities, and we should definitely have a account for them in these principles. Yes.
And community gardens, I forgot that one too.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the other one. Okay, great. No, that would be great. I really hope a lot of people fill out this survey, put your ideas. answer the questions, put ideas, and spread it to your friends, neighbors, family, anybody that you know throughout New York City. You should definitely fill this out. So if no one has any other questions, then we will, Michelle, do you have a question?
No, it's not really, oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
It's not really a question, but I think it's a great program. And I think that it'll help. But I wanted to inform you that NYC Speaks, they do almost the same thing. They're gonna have that survey, and it's gonna be the 11th is the last day, the deadline. You know, it's an epic effort to bring together the tens of thousands of New Yorkers with their ideas to the mayor, to the new mayor. So it's a great idea. Good work.
Right. New York Speaks is actually for any issue, and that's for all of New York City for the mayor. This one is more geared towards city planning, urban design, and our built environment. So they're,
okay.
you know, it's they're both good. You could write similar things that we talked about here in the New York City Speak survey, but this one is just geared more towards like our environment, our quality of life, and our neighborhood, and the design, of course. So I would encourage people to fill out both. And Michelle, we should put that other survey also in the recap email if you want to put it in the chat too for other people.
It's just the New York City Speak.
Yeah,
New York,
I think
NYC Speak. Okay, I put it in the chat.
Both beneficial. This one we have until March 4th, and I'm pretty sure Alton's going to Alton Eugenia is our chair for. You're welcome. Thank you, Michelle. He's our chair for our ULIP committee. So I'm sure he'll be in touch with you.
Oh, that would be great. Yes, please feel free to reach out.
Yeah. So if no one has any further comments or questions, I don't see any. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much. That was wonderful, and we will keep spreading the word. And I hope a follow-up soon.
Yes, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate the time, especially in such a hard time for the board. So yes, looking forward to hearing from a lot of people from CB4. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great night. Okay, so we're going to move on. Report and vote. We have Public Safety Committee, and I know Christina is going to be handling that tonight.
Yes, hi. Okay, just going over the denials. We have Antonietta's Restaurant at 9853 Corona Avenue. They did not come to the meeting, so we have denied it for the time being. If they come, then we'll rediscuss. V263 Corp, they withdrew their application for the time being. They said they weren't ready yet. 104th Street Restaurant Inc. DBA is Tony's Pizzeria, located at 4518 104th Street. There has been a number of complaints about this location. The owner has been renting it out. So there's been like a lot of noise issues, a lot of like fights and other things. So that one was also denied. Single Enterprises, DBA California Sports Bar, located at 82-18 Roosevelt Avenue. They also have a lot of criminal complaints and also SLA summonses. And then finally, Temescal New York Corp, located at 8808 Roosevelt Avenue. They also did not appear, so the committee voted to deny them as well. Does anyone want to make a motion to accept the committee's report, or does anyone want to talk about any of the locations?
I can make the motion.
Ms. Monroe, hold on. Before anybody does anything, I do want to just point out a technicality, Christina. Well, Christina, I'm speaking to everybody. There was a technicality on Tony's Pizzeria. I want to just inform everybody that even though the committee chose to deny the license on account of several items, the license for Tony's Pizzeria was approved in advance of the board being able to review it due to a small time frame issue that we ran into. I also want to inform everybody that that very same night, just a couple of days back, Councilman Moya actually showed up to that meeting with concerns. We specifically have concerns with the fact that Tony's Pizzeria is, in a sense, being managed by somebody else, and it still retained the umbrella of Tony's Pizzeria. Nonetheless, a lot of violations do exist. I was actually in process of working with Lucy on a letter that we were planning on writing to the State Liquor Authority, solidifying more so what the council member brought up. So unfortunately, at this point, they do have a license, but we do intend on working with the SLA to, at the very least, get the hours cut back. I'm not going to say necessarily have the license full, but to work with them closely. So I want to point that out, that even though we'll vote no on Tony's Pizzeria, it already got its license before we got the chance to vote. Thanks, Chris.
No problem. I think someone had put forth the motion.
I can move the motion.
Okay. Anyone second?
I do.
Okay. All right. So everyone, is everyone okay with it? Is anyone?
Anybody?
Tony's
No?
Pizza has been a problem for the surrounding neighbors. My uncle Tony owned it for 35 years. Just because we're Lucellas, like I said, he sold the business off. What goes on there is it's very disrespectful to the surrounding neighborhood, and it's a shame. So I hope we follow up with perhaps going if we can. Christian knows we've all had enough. Our grandparents live there, our families live there. There's knife fights, there's blood Sunday mornings. You have mamas over there, you have women going to church. It's atrocious what goes on over there, and that comes from the heart because my cousin started that when he came over from Italy. So when we lost the business and he sold it off, nobody should have to tolerate what's going on there. We all know they were on Channel 7 News what's going on there and worse. So let's put an end to what the hell is going on over there. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a little confusing, right, Christian, when we had the committee meeting last week. I know they approved the license, but we
I mean, if I have to look, I mean, for sake again, in the effort of time, because I have a feeling we can get out of here in the next maybe 10, 15 minutes, if that. I can explain it very briefly, but if anybody wants details, by all means, please do call the board office. It is your guys' vote on it, and the letter is leaving from the board with it. But what ended up happening, it seems that Tony's Pizzeria never quite closed down. It is still owned by Ernesto. It is still owned by the previous principal, and it was never sublet or passed over to a new applicant. It was just the existing license that continues to be active on account of the people living there, or rather working there, managing the business. And for that reason, Tony's Pizzeria can continue to have their license renewed over and over so long as he doesn't actually sell the business and keeps it under the name Tony's Pizzeria. And that seems to be what's happening. So, Vinny, I hear you loud and clear. We're with it. The issues have been going on for years, even before the business was taken over by this new entity. But nonetheless, I want to be clear that it has not been transferred over to any new entity. It is still under Tony's Pizzeria, still under Ernesto's name, and nothing has changed. It's just that the current management team that's there isn't doing a great job. I will say this, that they were looking to extend their hours for obscene hours. I'm talking 2 a.m. during the weekdays, 4 a.m. during the weekends. I told them absolutely not. That's a fully residential neighborhood. It's no different than what's been happening for the last couple of years, but at least now we have the chance to kind of snip it before it gets worse. But Marilena, that's it. If anybody has detail, if you want more details, I will gladly share it. It's open information, but we will follow up with a letter to the SLA. Thank you.
Okay, so if anyone has any no's or abstentions, then the motion passes. Okay, perfect. All right, thank you, Christina. Okay, so we're gonna move on to committee reports. Consumer Affairs. Michelle, we can't hear you.
I'm unmuted. This is the final closing. Is it me or the other Michelle?
No, Michelle, we can hear you. Yeah.
Committee report.
Oh, sorry.
It's
my committee report. Oh, yes. Well, our meeting is not yet. Well, it's next week, and it's just going to be our committee. It's nothing public. But we'll have more details in our next month meeting. Okay.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, guys. Thanks so much. God bless you. Be safe.
Thank you. Environmental.
Yes, I'm going to start with the Q swap because there was a lot done at the last meeting. Last meeting was January 26th, but the minutes are not available yet. And as promised, Kevin O'Sullivan of DSNY was at this meeting to discuss smart composting, which is not a program to replace the curbside composting. It looks like a big mailbox, and people have to apply to use it, and they get a key, and when they have enough food scraps, they go there, open the box, and put it in. And I don't know what mechanism, the DSNY is aware that it's full, they come and they empty it. I don't see it as a very good program because it's a lot of work, it seems to me, that you've got to get the key. You got to hold on to the key, not lose it. And plus, you got to make time to go down to wherever it's situated. There are 16 of these boxes located around Astoria, and it's a pilot program at this juncture. And I'm not even sure how well it's working. QSWAP has decided to support 2 organizations that are involved in cleaning up neighborhoods. One is called Abuela Neighborhood Maintenance, and it's a grassroots organization combining art and stewardship of the area. The areas being Queens Village and Hollis. The other is Eastern Queens Alliance, which is a federation of 10 Southeast Queens civic organizations. Both of these have websites, so if you want something more in depth, particularly the Eastern Queens Alliance, they seem to be active in Idlewild Conservation Area, which is near JFK. The original name of JFK was Idlewild Airport. And the last thing, I hope everybody noticed that in the November minutes, there was a definition of what the role of community boards is going to be in QSWAB. So I hope everybody read that part because I find it a little ambiguous, but at least it lets us know where we stand with the QSWAB. We're supposed to meet next, this coming Thursday, with Con Ed's team that is going to be discussing with us the Reliable Clean City project of Con Ed. However, it's been postponed because of the wake for Lucy, and it's going to be rescheduled for February 23rd. And if anybody wants to look at this Reliable Clean City project, it's on Con Ed's website. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Carol.
And I also want to emphasize that in addition to it being on Con Ed's website, we will share it as part of our recap. So you'll all be getting that in the next 24 hours, maybe 48 hours. Thanks.
Health and Human Services. Clara.
Good evening, everyone. Maranella, we had a very productive meeting last month, and we hope to have another productive meeting this month. Our meeting will take place on the 28th of February, and I'm asking all the members of the Health and Human Services Committee to please attend this meeting. The last meeting, found that it was well attended thanks to members of the community board and members of the Elmhurst Hospital that were able to give the presentation and to attend the meeting. But I only saw one member of this community board of the health committee at that meeting. And I would appreciate if you are not interested in being a member of the Health and Human Services Committee to inform Christian and Maranella, and they'll switch to another committee, and then we can search for other members, new members. And the next meeting on the 28th is going to be about an exciting organization in Long Island City. It's brand new, and it's in reference to organ donations. And I would please ask all of you that are interested in this topic
and relevant topics to please be there because it's a new, the new concept. The way they presented it is a new concept. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Clara. Parks, Cultural Affairs, and Historical Preservation. Ashley?
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, so Queens Night Market season is approaching, and I have a statement here from the Queens Night Market founder, John Wang, and he asked that we share his statement with you guys. So I'm just going to read it. Dear CB4, Happy Lunar New Year. I hope you're well. I had hoped to announce plans for this year's Queens Night Market at the meeting, but the truth is we have run into some roadblocks the last few months. In order to make the Queens Night Market happen this year, we're exploring some potential changes which are caught up in red tape at the moment. The next 2 weeks will be critical for us. I hope to have more updates for you by next month's meeting, although I may speak to some of your committees before then. We also might be asking for your support in the near future, so please don't hesitate to reach out to me or ask me any questions in the meantime. I'm always available. Thank you, and please stay safe and healthy next time. Until next time, sincerely, John Wang. So hopefully we should be hearing from John soon, perhaps later on this month. Now for my committee report, we met on January the 25th. We had a quorum. We had our representatives from the Parks Department, and we had 2 members of the public. We had a very robust discussion on the bocce ball courts at William F. Moore. And we ultimately decided that we would like to see safety improvements made to the park, including lighting and fences. And also we expressed that we would like to see the bocce ball courts preserved, but we would like to see them improved so that, you know, they're more durable and that they're more safe for everyone to enjoy. We also had a discussion on Park of the Americas, and the following day on the 26th was a scoping meeting, which some of us were able to attend. And it was just a discussion on what they'd like to see improved in the Park of the Americas. Some of the things that were brought up were new signage, new seating options, new plantings and trees, reestablishment of the lawns, and managing stormwater. And that's it for my committee meeting.
Thank you, Ashley. Transportation?
Okay. Hi, guys. We met on January the 18th to have a conversation about our priorities, internal conversation among the members. We did have a quorum. We had a very good discussion that touched on a variety of issues, including the new proposed Interborough Express, which would run up the west side of District 4. The question of the electrical signs at bus stops announcing when buses would arrive. The question of the Long Island Railroad Station. We had a long chat about subway safety, platform safety. We had a brief chat about the Open Streets program. As a result of that, we decided to invite the MTA to come to an upcoming meeting. The New York City Transit people, the buses and subway people, will be attending our next meeting next Tuesday, February 15th at 6 p.m., which everybody's invited to attend. The issues we expect to touch on there are the proposed new bus plan, which has not been put out yet, subway safety issues, upcoming. There was some stuff in train before the pandemic hit. Some station rehabs along Roosevelt Avenue, and an ADA elevator at Woodhaven Boulevard were all kind of on the cusp of happening, and we're looking to get updated on where they stand. In addition to that, also at the meeting, a separate, entirely separate topic, a person who lives on Reeder Street in Elmhurst, near Queens Boulevard and Broadway, that neck of the woods, has asked that we consider changing their street to be one way, and that person has been invited to come and explain what they want. I doubtful that any sort of final decision will come next week, but you should all know that that's been thrown out there as a topic. Meeting next week, everybody's invited with the MTA.
Thank you so much, Matt. Thank you. ULURP and zoning.
Good evening. We met, Europe met January 27th. We had an incredible introduction to Community Land Trust. The presentation was presented by Will Spedick from the New Economy Project, and Farzan joined him from Shaka organization, the nonprofit housing organization, community development organization, I believe. It was an incredible presentation. We discussed community land trust and how it could be used in our community. But it was so incredible to the point that we couldn't formulate anything to present to the board. So we're going to have ongoing meetings with the New Economy Project, and then eventually present it to the board on how community land trust can be used in our community to build vacant areas, dilapidated housings, and things of that nature. And basically that was it. That was it. Great meeting. Great meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Alton. Youth services. Sylvia?
Good evening, everyone. We met on January the 27th. We had a quorum, and we had a guest from the Youth Power Coalition, Erica Chowry, and Deborah Chain from Leadership on the Move, and Jada Richardson, sophomore at Hunter College. And they were interested in how the youth could join the community boards. And example, we used Christian Romero, who was the youngest youth to join our board, which he said tonight. And we discussed on how they could get involved in projects like cleanup, painting, and other things. And we hope to have more of an update at our next meeting.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Marilyn, if I can just jump in really quick with the Youth Power Coalition, it'll be, I promise you guys, I talk fast. I'll be out of here in no time. I actually met just last night. Wasn't that last night? Yeah, it was actually last night with the Youth Power Coalition. They did a small panel. What they'd like to do is, above all else, is they of course they want to bring a full project to the entire board. They like to present to us. Yes, they are in fact looking to find out how to get the youth more involved. What are community boards? What are we all about? Nothing we haven't done before. I was a panelist with them last night. What we are doing, we're working on formulating some kind of a survey, a questionnaire that we'd like to send out to the full community. What do you know about community boards? Have you joined your community board? If so, how, et cetera, et cetera. So I am working with them. If all goes well, they will be presenting yet again to the youth committee this coming month. And if all goes well, even more so, we might be able to get them to be guest speakers at our next meeting. They are partnered up with Woodside on the Move, amongst several other youth organizations. But yeah, they're doing strength in numbers, and there's a lot of youth trying to get involved with the local communities, and that's what they're all about. So we should be hearing more from them very soon. Thanks, Sylvia.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Christian. Okay, so
Mary Elena, may I throw something in?
Yeah, sure, Matt.
I'm sorry, it's Matt. Show my face. When Christian, Sylvia, when you guys are chatting, something I ran across last year when we were looking at the revision of the bylaws, the city charter says under 16 cannot be members, and 16 and 17-year-olds, you're allowed only a maximum of 2 people. So I just wanted to make sure you guys, when you're talking to these people, know that. And now I'm out. Thank you very much. Sorry for the interruption.
No, thank you, Matt.
That is indeed a very. I'm sorry, Marilyn. Go ahead. Excuse me.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, we can't forget that.
Yeah, we are aware of that. They are aware of it. Again, I believe that if I'm not mistaken, they said about 20 of them applied to end up on CB2. What I did encourage them all is in addition to of course signing up to be a board member, do reach out to your local boards because every board operates differently. Some of them have ability to put public members on, some don't. So yes, they are fully aware of what the rules and regulations are, and they're hoping to get as many on as possible. Thanks.
All right, great. So we're gonna go into open session number 2. Any member of the board would like to say anything additionally or something maybe they forgot? Now's your chance.
Marina, can I say something for the
Sure.
application?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, last time Christian told me that you can fill the application on the line. I tried to fill up the application and tried to run through the credit my driver license. After this one, they said you have to provide a CV. Why they add in new things when the CV, those kind of things, which is just like it was simple application and plus is a driver license. I mean, no, I don't have any CV.
Christian,
And
do
I
you know?
when I went to the candlelight at February 2nd at Borough President is a hall in the Queen Boulevard. I spoke to is a deputy Borough President. I said, why you add this thing is a CV for the other people? Before you have a simple application, plus you need a driver is a driver license. So now I didn't fill the application yet because the reason is I don't have a CV.
Okay, so I know Marilyn, I know you deferred this one to me, and Mr. Narula, I'm obviously not Borough Hall. I can't vouch for what they're doing. My understanding is that in previous years, while a CV was unnecessary, there was at the very least some kind of an understanding who you were, and there was some kind of an essay or something had to be filled out. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't seen the application in a while.
I'm 13 years, 14 years. How many times they have to need this? The person.
Well, I
With all
think
respect,
you
you're
have to
complaining
definitely
to the
put the
wrong.
driver's license. But Christian, if I'm wrong, I'm not sure, don't remember. But last year, like there were certain things that if you were just renewing, you didn't have to do.
Yeah, I look. I mean, you already know it as well as I do. I can go on record over here. Everybody knows that I've been reaching out to the borough president for quite some time. We reach them at least once a week. My understanding is Mr. Chen's been reaching out to them for at least a month now to somebody to explain to him why his application is incomplete. And it's like talking to a lamp. I'm just not getting anywhere with Borough Hall with any understanding of what exactly is going on with the applications. I don't want any of my board members to get removed on a technicality because I think that's a bit much. And I really wish a rep from the borough president would have been here today, especially in light of the applications being due. I did specifically ask them to please send us a final comprehensive list of who hasn't applied yet. What are the members missing? We're only getting a notification saying that you have an incomplete application without specifying exactly what is missing. So I don't want a technicality to pass. I don't want them to give it to brand new people who just happen to do the application right, and our 30-year veteran members get removed. So I hope that is not the case. I am trying, Mr. Narula. If you guys have issues with any reapplications, please let the board office know, and I will vouch to Borough Hall on your behalf. It's the best I have for now, but rest assured that I will fight to keep every one of you on.
I need last time I had a simple application and I just sent it back to to your office and they sent it forward to the as a Borough Hall. And this time I on the candlelight on February 2nd, I spoke to the assistant Borough President. And I spoke to her. I said, why you have, she said, I'm going to discuss with the Richard. And I said, fine, then you give us a call that after 13, 14 years that you need a new paper. But this is not fair.
Okay, fortunately for you, I understand everything you're saying, but it seems, and I understand your frustration, but it's going around in circles, and we're going on 5 minutes of just this one issue again. The board office does not, under any circumstances, handle board member applications, especially not me. You guys are my bosses. I don't even touch those applications. So I will fight Borough Hall on this one. I will reach out to them constantly on your behalf. But please do so as well. Borough Hall, it's your application. Do reach out. Maricela Cano is still the director of community boards. I will share her information in the chat as well as her phone number. Please do reach out to them. But I intend on getting a full comprehensive list of what is missing, and we'll work with you on this one. Last year, they were very involved in the process, maybe too much so that it was overwhelming for them. And as a result of that, this year, maybe, I'm just saying, not on record, maybe they're just cutting back on the application process and putting more information on paper so that it's less one-on-one interviews for them to manage, because it's a lot of application. But that is my opinion. That is not my professional.
Okay, that's fine. It's not, then that's no problem. When I work for 30, 40 years, they want to lose it,
Tabitha,
they lose
go
it.
on downstairs. Get Tom.
Okay, so yeah, I think all the board members that are having issues with the applications, please reach out to the board office, email, phone call, whatever, so that we can get this rectified and figure out with try to get someone at Borough Hall. So thank you for that, Gurdeep, for bringing that up. Any other board members?
Hi, Marilena. This is Lara. I put a link on the chat. The Office for the Prevention of Hate Crime has an ongoing campaign for our younger people to join Heart Work Against Hate. You can just click on the link and you can see all the details. Thanks.
Great, thank you for sharing.
Okay.
Any other board members have anything they would like to say or add?
It's 9:30 now.
I'd just like to thank Christian for his help with the homeless, and I'd like to thank the Parks Department for cleaning up the Hall of Science parking lot and the 2 homeless camps. It was taken care of in less than 24 hours. And just thank you again, Christian, and thank the Parks Department as well. That's all. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Vinny.
Thank you, brother.
If nobody has anything else to add, then I need a motion to
I
adjourn.
move that we adjourn.
Thank you, Carol.
I second.
I do the second.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone.
Okay,
And we will
good
send out
night.
the email recap. So look for all the information in there. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you too,
Good night.
Marlena. Meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.
Good night,
Good
everyone.
night.
Good night.
Good night,
Be
everyone.
Lucy
safe,
family in
everyone.
prayer.
God
Yes,
bless.
yes.